Yo, GM. It's Monday, August 19th. Want to give y'all a market update. So, first thing that we will start off with is just a broad look at BTC. And what we have in Bitcoin is a pronounced local range or downtrend, depending on how you want to look at it. But the way I see it is we have a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, another lower high, and another lower low. So we effectively have a downtrend that was created in mid-March right here. And currently we're sitting in mid-August. So that's April, May, June, July, August. That's 5 months of a market that has been trending down or sideways, however you want to look at it. Okay. Now, contextually, why do I want to mention that? I want to mention that because it's very important for us to get the understanding of sentiment as well as the main actor of the crypto market, which is Bitcoin. And Bitcoin right now is not acting like it's leading the market upward in crypto. It's not even acting like it's leading the risk on part of equities or stocks or animal spirits of how retail generally gets involved, right? When retail gets involved, we see BTC pumping kind of like it did back here from January earlier this year all the way to March. That was a solid 2.5, 3 months. In this time span, we also saw things like Bonk take off. We saw things like Whiff take off. The meme coin season started. All the animal spirits, like I said, the retail investors get involved in those kind of moves. What I see right now is something a little bit different. What's happening right now is more so that Bitcoin dominance, which again, I thought Bitcoin dominance would have topped somewhere here in April or May, and we would have created a range like I thought right here. Okay. And I thought we would have broken down from here, starting the new leg up of altcoins to move up and Bitcoin to basically move sideways in price. That's basically what Bitcoin dominance is. Dominance means how much of every dollar being sold or bought. So, for example, if $1 of crypto entering the market is entering right now, approximately 56.9% of it is going into BTC. And barely the other, 34% or 33% is going into altcoins, right? So you could see that's a pretty significant dominance for Bitcoin itself. Now, on the other side, when Bitcoin is also getting sold, right? So there's Bitcoin dominance on the upside where Bitcoin prices are moving up and altcoins are really not catching a bid. Then there's the other side of dominance, which is when Bitcoin dominance is trending upward and Bitcoin prices are going slightly sideways or downward. The other thing that happens in the market is something like this. This is the total 3 market cap, which is the exclusion of Bitcoin and ETH, meaning we're only looking at everything else from Solana all the way down to, I think, the top 200. I think that's how the total 3 is measured. It's not just every single altcoin, it's about the top 200. So take out Bitcoin's market cap, take out Ethereum's market cap, and add up everything else, right? Solana, Doge, Tron, Ton, Avalanche, all the way to the top 200. And that is the gauge of what we're looking at here. And you can see, while Bitcoin may be looking more sideways, the altcoins have been decimated quite significantly, right? The altcoin market cap is down, though it's down 40%. The real reality is altcoins are down, especially the old ones, right? So for example, I don't know, like FTM. down quite significantly since March. Again, March is when BTC topped. FTM was down almost 80%. It's still down almost 70%. Even something new like DGen, one of my more favorite plays. I'll talk about this trade a little bit more on DGen. But DGen, again, down about 93%, right? INJ, Injective, from the March top, it was down almost 75%, currently still down 66%. Jito, again, one of the newer coins, from the highs to where it is now, almost down 57%. Near, same thing, mid-March top, down currently 57%. The point is, I can go through hundreds of examples like this where most of the coins right now are down 40, 50, 80, 90%. Altcoins, I mean. Again, we're looking at total market cap excluding BTC and ETH, right? So what does that tell us about the market? It tells us that the market is not ready for a risk-on altcoin bull market. We're not ready for that, okay? At least not yet. We may, in fact, have more sideways and trending down for a little while before we possibly explode up higher up until Q4 or the end of the year or the beginning of next year, okay? Now, a couple of different ways to look at the market. Now, one thing I'd speak about is how closely similar Bitcoin right now is to 2019. Okay, this 2019 period, right? I've spoken about Bitcoin numerous times, even when it was at 70K. And I told y'all that I don't believe that BTC is ready for a breakout. The market itself feels very off, all right? This is, again, a reiteration of that. What we are looking at is, okay, so let me pull up a different chart. We're looking at something like this. We're looking at the market from a broad, multi-year perspective. Okay. And in this scenario, back in 2019 and 20, we had approximately 230 days until we had the COVID event, which I'm going to exclude, by the way, right? I'm going to exclude how painful the COVID event was and the drawdown was. Regardless, though, what that should tell us is we do have a large period that we need to go into a sideways accumulation, right? And a redistribution of money that will likely still continue to flow out of altcoins, all right? So money will flow out of altcoins and money will go into Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin dominance is still extremely powerful. So that means that even if BTC trends downward, the money is slowly accumulating into BTC, but it is aggressively coming out of alts, meaning money from Ton Chain or Solana or Say or the old coins like Matic, which are down, drastically, near DGen, AVAX, every single altcoin that is in existence right now will have some money pulled away from this going into BTC, even if BTC keeps trending downward, because the dominance itself is still ripping higher, right? That is exactly what the market conditions tell us right now, is dominance is trending up, okay? The total 3 market cap is trending down. BTC is trending sideways / down, but the altcoins themselves, AVAX and DGen and Polkadot, even ETH, for example, right? They've taken heavy hits. but they could still take more heavy hits for the next, possibly another few weeks, a few months. Unless we look at the market a little bit differently and we say, oh, well, it's possible that from here, instead of doing this situation, right, this scenario that I spoke about, and again, this is the more bearish scenario, like near term, but it has the most bullish upside, meaning if we have a similar event, like a COVID drop or the sideways for, almost 6 to 9 months, like we have in 2024, the upside is always higher the longer you consolidate, right? So that's why I was actually under the impression that even in March and April, I really did not think that we were just going to blast right through the all-time highs, because the upside will be much more capped. Because see, the thing is, these kinds of rallies right here, they're not really sustainable. They're very sort of bubbly. They have really no fundamentals behind them. Like you guys remember 2017, there's not a lot of fundamentals behind BTC. There's not a lot of fundamentals behind ETH or XRP or anything. That came almost, a year and a half, 2 years later, after these two sections had time for accumulation, and then we took off. DeFi season, NFTs, right? Even Doge took off. So all these different trends started back then because you allowed time for baking of projects, people building projects, really like maximizing their opportunity to keep building in a bear market. And all the dead projects, all the overvalued projects die in this period. So I believe we're at the tail end of this period right here. We have maybe a month or two max to go, maybe 3 max. Then after that, I do think that it's going to be like this, which means if we measure something like this, which is a similar movement like we had in COVID, but not as aggressive, right? So say, for example, if we go, so remember COVID drop, right, from this high to this low, I think on some exchanges, it was almost 70%. So let's just say 65%, right? We don't need to have a 65% drop this time. Okay, we can just have like a 40% drop right here, all the way to $42,000. A 40% drop to $42,000 is normal because guess what? Right back here in 2017, you had a 38% drop. Over here again, a 40% drop, right? So you actually had numerous times where you had multiple 40% drops. Okay. See that? 39%, 38%, 40%. So the point is that you should not be surprised at 40% drops in BTC. This right here was an outlier, is a very black swan event, which is COVID. Doesn't need to happen. But a 40% drop, that's pretty normal in Bitcoin, right? That could shake us down to about 42K, which then creates a massive inverse head and shoulders pattern. Inverse head and shoulders patterns are extremely bullish. And once they get going, right, if you think about it, this is how we measure an inverse head and shoulders pattern. You go from the bottom of the head to the top of the neckline. And once the breakout happens, this is your breakout point. We're looking at a breakout point from approximately 72 to 75K, all the way up to about $300,000. That is the measurement of the inverse head and shoulders pattern that we would have been building since this 2021 top, 2022 bear market, 2023 run up, 2024 right shoulder, and then boom. Now do you see why I would be so extremely bullish if something like that would happen? Why the move down to 42K is really not that bearish. It would definitely destroy a lot of people. It would destroy a lot of projects, but as long as you're alive and kicking, you're good. Bitcoin is going to lead the market up, right? And total 3, again, which is a healthy part of the market that of altcoin measurement, it's going to explode, right? It is honestly going to explode because the last time total 3 went from the high of 2017, the market cap measurement, all the way up to $1.14 trillion in the 2021 high. That's a lot of money. That's 600 to 700 billion dollars that went into altcoins. A similar movement like that, if we were to have it now in 2024 tail end, that should be taking us to somewhere around $3 trillion from current prices. From current prices, that's a 6x from today, right? So that's 2.5 trillion dollars from today's prices. It would be almost a 1.9 trillion addition from the previous 2021 high. So this is why you need to stay vigilant for the next few months, but extremely bullish for the next, 6 months to 12 months to 18 months, because that's where the real money will be made. But rest assured, it's going to be super choppy before this happens, right? So expect an absolute chop fest, some crap like that happening before we go giga bull run up until end of year 2025. All right. Right now, you can make the argument that, oh, well, I think that BTC is just going to consolidate here and we're going to just start ripping higher. Possible. But I think the market itself, the macro picture, recession risk that is being talked about here in the United States, amongst many other things. For example, today, Kamala Harris had announced that she's going to appoint Gary Gensler as Treasury Secretary, and she has some super anti-crypto folks in her cabinet that are going to be appointed for the SEC. So you can see how this is also being priced into the market for crypto, right? If the potential president, the next president of the United States, is appointing anti-crypto people or people in crypto that have given cryptocurrency industry a hard time, that's going to be tough for us. And that's going to get priced in the market. Now, I do think that the fears are overblown. I don't think that it will be an existential crisis of any sorts. I think it'll be tougher with regulations, and it may cause a little bit of chaos with Kamala Harris, having her current appointee picks, plus Gary Gensler as Treasury Secretary. So that could create the rocky volatility. And that could be the trigger, in October or November as the election nears, right? Because remember, American election date, November 7th, I think, right? Or 5th. So before November 5th, as the market nears that date, it is entirely possible that the market is fearful of a Kamala Harris presidency, and it shakes out everybody prior to that. And then after that, as her presidency is actually installed, maybe she's not as aggressive. And the markets recover, and all the way into 2025, we have a bull market, right? That's kind of what we're looking at. And again, same thing with Trump. Even if Trump wins, I still think that we're just going to have a shaky, up and down market, something like this situation, and then up. Okay. So all this crap that people say that, oh, Kamala Harris is definitely horrible for crypto and Trump is good. Politicians are all relatively the same. They talk a lot. They don't really do a whole lot, right? They all want to do their best to satisfy their interests of the larger electorate. That's really it. Okay. So I don't think either candidate will be that great or that bad for crypto. Crypto will continue on to exist as it always has. Okay. So now the other way to look at the market is from a different perspective, which is just key moving averages, right? Again, we spoke about why I believe that the current period in 2024 is much more similar to the 2019 period, right? I believe we're somewhere, if you look at the market right here, I believe we're somewhere here, okay? We're somewhere here where the prices, broke down earlier in the week. You had a bit of a death cross right there. Death cross is basically the yellow line, which is, I think, a 50 moving average, sorry, the 200 moving average, crossing above the slower, crossing above the faster 50 SMA. So you had that death cross right there, right? And prices are not able to climb up above it, and we're getting rejected here. Right? Same thing happened back here in 2019. Yellow crossing above the green, prices spiked up into it, sold off. Prices once again tried to climb up above it, and then COVID, boom, right? So that's kind of what we're looking at right now, is at least this situation right here. For the next, couple of months, that's what we're looking at. The other thing is, Bitcoin monthly returns, right? If we look at the monthly returns on Bitcoin, okay, we generally don't have such a solid month for August and September, right? If you look at historic data shows you August, generally a red month, okay? The median is -8%. Again, September, more red than green, right? Generally -5% return. So we're already into, August, and we're headed into September. So chances are August and September, higher probability that they're more red than green. And October, November, December, generally pretty positive months, right? October, November, definitely positive. Okay, so that's what we're looking at right now, is a sideways choppy market in August, possibly a down market maybe into September. Then October, we're looking at a pretty solid month. November, pretty solid month. December, I don't know, right? But the fact that we have the American election in November, prior to that, a couple of days or maybe a week or two, I think the market will start pricing in that volatility, who may win, whatever. And then I think shortly after that, we should be commencing the next big leg of the market. And that will be, in my opinion, for BTC, but for also other altcoins. Now, jumping into altcoins, right? There's many different flavors of crypto that have come out over the last few months. One of which is Base, right? I've been extremely bullish on Base, something that I've spoken about quite a few times. I think Base metrics are going to continue to dominate over the next 1 year. I, in fact, think that Base will be the L2 that will dominate all volumes across all L2 chains going forward. Okay, I'm not saying that it will kill Arbitrum and it will kill Polygon, or it will kill Avalanche or anything as such, but it will just be such a strong competitor. It will dominate volumes and users and have the Coinbase, distribution effect, that it will supplant all other L2s. And I think more users and volumes are going to go on to Base. However, for the last several months, especially starting off in April, okay, I think volumes have been effectively really, really bad. I don't care what these metrics say. This is, in my opinion, I spend a lot of time on Base. Not true. Okay, the volumes are much, much lower. Some of these might be just botted or gamed some way, somehow, but Base volumes are extremely, extremely low, especially from, April, May down to now. All right, you could kind of see that right there. Let me turn TVL off. See right there, right? You can kind of see the volumes were extremely high here sometime in May. They're extremely, growing and popular in March and April. They're really falling off a cliff, especially the last few months. I would make the argument that since, June, July, August, volumes have been somewhere close to cut in half of what we saw at the highs in April and possibly sometime in June. So we're expecting somewhere near $200 to $300 million in volume. But to be fair, I think volumes across the board, even in Solana, have been cut quite a bit, right? If we look at Solana volumes, okay, they were extremely high in April, right? All the way up to $3-4 billion. And I think right now it's safe to say that volumes are down less than $1 billion. So it's a 75% almost haircut in terms of volumes, which is again fair. The market has been choppy, it's been sideways, it's been turning people upside down, right? And that makes sense because most of the alts look like this, right? It looks like death for ETH, for INJ, for FTM, for NEAR. They all look horrible, right? OP, Rune. I mean, they all look really, really bad. Okay, you guys get the point. Because most people's sentiment is actually defined by altcoins, right? It is not Bitcoin that defines, how people feel about a bull market. It is in fact meme coins pumping, your NFTs pumping, and you can kind of look at NFT volumes too, right? NFT volumes, I mean, they have fallen off a cliff. That I can guarantee you. It's not even close. Right? So you could kind of see NFTs made a very, very small comeback in November and December of 2023. Now they're at extremely low, right? I mean, it's dismal volume. It's not even close. Solana NFTs, ETH NFTs, the mints are horrible, right? Meme coins, same thing. Meme coin volumes should be down a lot, actually. Where's a good place to catch that data? Maybe Dune. Let's see if Dune has that. Yeah, this is weekly cumulative volume. Well, cumulative volume is buying and selling. No. Sorry, cumulative volume is everything on top of each other, right? We're talking about weekly volume. So let's turn this off. Look at weekly volume, right? Meme coins have their surge, right? Remember May 2021, meme coins had a big surge. That's when Doge really took off. November 2021, Doge and Shiba Inu. 2023, this was the rise of Bonk, right? A couple other meme coins. November, December 2023, that was a rise of WIF. But now volumes are effectively, dead, right? So this just goes to show that whether it's NFTs or meme coins, most of the market right now is in a lull. It's the most boring place in the market. And I may have put up a chart somewhere. Maybe it's on my Warpcast. Let me check that out. We call it the boring zone, right? It's a boring zone because, let me show you guys real quick. Okay. The boring zone is because the market right now is just in a very tight consolidation phase. Okay. Like I said, maybe another month or two, sideways, slightly down. But then after that, we do expect this banana zone, right? So boring zone versus banana zone. Banana zone is, that term coined by Raoul Pal, where everything just goes parabolic. I think we're due for that, right? We're also due for that because we know, okay, that central banks around the world, they're going to start pressing the gas pedal on liquidity. This is world central bank liquidity. And as you can see, right, all central banks have begun easing conditions, okay, except the Fed. The Fed is the most important. The Fed is down here. Once the Fed starts easing, which again, we have, if you look at the weekly calendar, so we have the Jackson Hole event coming up on August 23rd. In this meeting, I would say with a high degree of certainty that he's going to talk about how in September, not August itself, but in September, they will consider rate cuts. If they don't talk about that, I'll be extremely surprised, but I think a high probability that they do talk about rate cuts at minimum 50 and 25 basis points. but the market will probably say, oh, well, if he's talking about 50 basis point cut for September, it probably means like 75 to 100 basis point cuts by December. That's really just how the market thinks, right? But again, still remains to be seen, but I think higher probability is the market is leaning towards that, right? How much? Let me show you guys. Poly market Fed rate cut. Okay, you can see the odds have started to tick up. Okay, let me show you guys. See, Fed rate cut by September, okay, November and December have started to tick up at a 94%, 97, 97% chance, right? So that means the market is betting heavy. I know these are prediction markets, but this is $3 million bet on 94% chance. That means, the wisdom of the crowds is kind of telling people that, hey, we're expecting some cut in September, whether that's because of unemployment, the market's being shaky, credit risk, whatever. Something may trigger a Fed rate cut in September. Okay. So that's, again, put that together with this Jay Powell meeting in August, plus the fact that BTC has already been grinding and trending down, plus the fact that Total 3 has been grinding and trending down for 5+ months, plus the fact that we have the central bank liquidity, especially the Fed, lagging behind. And once they start, opening up their taps, we're going to start, printing liquidity, printing money, right? Additionally, China has also started adding central bank liquidity. This is going to be the trigger, in my opinion, at some point by the end of the year for the market to start ripping up. And I think that will be ultimately the thing that will allow markets to have one final move, possibly slightly down, and then rocket back up. All right. So that's my general thoughts on markets. Of course, you guys know very well, I run Base Roaring Kitty, which is a Roaring Kitty personified meme coin, right? I'm a huge believer in who Keith Gill is. Again, if you're not familiar with Keith Gill, you can go look him up, The Roaring Kitty. This person is the one who blew up a lot of funds in Wall Street, right? He is truly, the person that is the epitome of someone who relates to the average person in the market, trying to make it. And we made a meme coin off that. And though we're currently still at 164K, again, we are on base chain. We're on base chain, right? Our community is absolutely solid. We have 1,827 members, pretty active community, right? We have a lot of different meme contests. So for example, like even this morning, I had started off this meme contest. Where is it? Right here. Pretty much like 2-3 times a week, I give away a good amount of money for people who are creating memes. If you create memes for Roaring Kitty, you're going to make money, right? I love memes and I love the, crypto markets and I love Roaring Kitty. So I think the base chain is going to succeed. I think, we're going to add tremendous value to the base chain. Roaring Kitty is going to do great. You can check out our Twitter too. We are extremely active on Twitter also. You can kind of see, like, we host these contests quite often, and we have a lot of engagement, a lot of people posting memes. Even the previous contest, we had a lot of people posting memes. I, generally post my videos about updates on things that we're doing for Roaring Kitty contests and things, how people can earn money for from Roaring Kitty community. So we have a lot going on, and I'm extremely transparent, right? I have a lot of Excel sheets where I show people like exactly who's getting paid, how much they're getting paid, how many individual contributors have earned money from our community, how much USDC we've given away, different levels of contributors, people on Warpcast who have made money, core members, etc. Right? So we love, showing love to people who are contributors of Roaring Kitty and those who want to grind with us. Because eventually, our goal is much, much, much higher. Okay, again, non-investment advice. You don't necessarily need to buy if you don't want to, but these are my goals, right? I want to keep grinding in the market. I think at 160K, Roaring Kitty as a meme coin is extremely undervalued. Like I told you guys before, I think that, you know, overall markets are going to gain more market cap. Meme coins are going to gain more market cap. I think crypto markets as a whole and base chain as a whole is going to do really well. So I'm extremely bullish. And for that reason, I'm grinding with the Roaring Kitty community. I post on a daily basis in Roaring Kitty. We're extremely active in the Roaring Kitty Twitter. We're extremely active in the Roaring Kitty Telegram channel. So if you want to come hang out and grind with us and you want to bet on base chain and meme coins on base chain, Roaring Kitty is your coin because I'm extremely transparent. I am also the #2 holder, never sold a single token, right? At 160K market cap, my tokens are still worth $6,000. Still never sold a single one. This was worth at the highs up here when Roaring Kitty moved all the way to 2.2 million. This was worth, I think, like maybe close to $80,000 or $100,000. I still never sold. Why? Because I want to continue to grind with the community. I love, how base chain is growing. I love hanging out with the people in our community. We've truly grown something incredible. We have raid contests and meme contests and video contests and all kinds of cool stuff. We're partnering up with many, many other meme coin communities. We're doing a good job. And I see no reason why Roaring Kitty cannot go significantly higher. We've held very nicely, this 100K floor. And I don't see why we can't, go up much higher, right? From here, my goal is, 50, 100, $200 million. Again, not investment advice, not telling you to buy. That's how I see it. I just want to keep working with the community until I hit my goals. That's it, right? You may have different goals, but those are mine. Okay? So those are my general thoughts on markets. Everything relating to, how I look at markets, to average returns, to meme coins, all kinds of really cool stuff that I feel like is going on. Like, for example, like Lexi is another token that is really unique because it's a WhatsApp based bot. Like, how you have Telegram bots, right? Well, this is a WhatsApp based bot where you can easily buy or sell tokens. Again, this is on Ethereum, not base chain. So you can buy and sell tokens via WhatsApp. And they also have something where you can buy and sell via SMS. There's something unique that they've created. I like stuff like that. And I want to partner with Lexi, with Roaring Kitty, to see how we can work together, if at all. Okay. But this is how I want to build relationships with cool products, cool communities. And we're all, aiming to work together and aim for much higher highs and higher prices. Okay. So I've talked a lot about, all kinds of stuff like meme coins and Bitcoin and altcoins. You can kind of see, right, my general outlook on market right now for crypto is we're still not doing well relative to equities or even gold, for example. And I think I will continue to hold that view probably for another month or two. I do think that, there's going to be sectors of the market that will perform here and there for a few days, maybe for a few weeks, but those will be short-lived, in my opinion. Like new narratives that may come up, maybe like one thing I'm focusing on is TON. TON is Telegram blockchain, basically. I think TON is going to be a solid, solid ecosystem. I think SUI also same thing, right? Solid ecosystem, I think, is going to do well in the future. But these coins are still kind of struggling right now, right? I think they may do well, for the next few weeks, the next few months. But again, still heavily kind of trending down. Sure, they had a breakout recently, but again, you know, I think it'll be a little while till these markets kind of find their own footing, where they find new users and more money and more activity. Until then, it's just chop. It's just up and down chop that you just need to be careful of. And it's going to be, level to level trading. Okay, cool. That's pretty much it, guys. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Cheers.